Start recording. And again, my name is Andrea Wilson. I will be your moderator and host for today. And again, welcome to our Texas School question and answer session. Before we start, I just want to go over a few housekeeping rules. I just want you to know during this session, we won't be able to give status updates on current applications. What you can do, basically this session is intended for us to talk about our Texas schools specifically and answer your questions about Texas and the positions we have open. We have a few of our recruiters for Texas on, as well as some of our academic administrators. If you have questions about current applications, please send an email to recruiting@k12.com, and then you will be connected with your recruiter. But I just wanted to give that disclaimer that we won't be able to go over status updates. We just want to be able to maximize the time where we can ask as many questions regarding our Texas schools, what they have to offer, as well as the hiring process and how you're able to apply for our Texas schools. As far as our questions and answers, we want you to put your questions in our Q&A box. You should see a black bar that's either going across the top of your screen or the bottom, and there's a box that says QA. So you'll put those questions in there, and once we get to our Q&A portion, we will pull those questions out in that box. We'll try to answer as many as we can during our time together. And just a friendly reminder that we are recording this session, and we will be sending it out to all of our registrants and also posting on our pages as well after the event. All right, so I want you to meet our panelists, and I will let them go around and jump on the microphone just to give their name and their title. And then after that, I will give a brief overview about Stride. So Erica, if you want to start, and then we'll just go across how we're listed on the screen.
Absolutely. So hello, everyone. I'm Erica. I'm one of the academic recruiters supporting our Texas schools. I joined Stride in March of 2021 as a contractor and was converted over in September. So I am now a full-time employee working on all things Texas, so super excited to be here. I have about 10 years of recruiting experience, specifically in high volume, but I'm really enjoying hiring teachers and learning the ins and outs of teachers. So I'm super excited to talk to all of you about all things Texas and teachers and the recruiting process and kind of what that looks like.
Thanks, Jill. Kate, if you want to hop on the microphone.
Sorry, yes. My name is Kate Henderson. I am a principal at Lone Star Online Academy here in Texas.
Hello, everyone. I am Marissa Lopez. I am the Stride Career Prep Principal at TOPS. I oversee our CTE program. We call it Career Learning here at Stride. So essentially, I'm supporting CTE not only at our high school campus, but our middle school campus as well.
Good morning. Sorry about that. I'm Jane Eiley. I am the academic administrator for Texas Online Preparatory School, the elementary campus, which is grades 3 through 5.
Hello, everyone. My name is Megan Payne. I am also an academic recruiter with Stride. I have been with Stride since August 2018 and have been working with Texas since then. So excited to share a little bit more and get to know everyone a little bit better.
Thank you all. And I just want to also mention we have Courtney Buchanan, also Israel Robinson. They will be helping me as well during our Q&A, as also the chat box. So you'll see them as well. But I just wanted to also make sure we introduce them as well. All right. So a little bit about Stride. Actually, myself, I've been with Stride for 4 years now, going on 5 in June of 22. But yes, I've been with Stride. We were formerly K-12. We've been around for over 20 years now, and we've become the leading provider in online learning. And our goal is to provide online education for everyone. And we've also acquired some companies as we've turned to Stride, such as Galvanize, MedCerts, and also Tech Elevator. Those are some of our MedCerts for medical certification, and also with Galvanize, Tech Elevator, and Hack Reactor. I'm sorry. Those are our coding and technology companies that we've acquired. So again, we focus on education for everyone which is why we changed our name to Stride. Before we were focused more for K through 12, but we also want to include the adult learner or any walk of life where education is needed. So that's why we have accumulated those other companies. And we, as Marissa talked about earlier, she said career prep. So we also are very much interested in career prep as well through career prep courses, which we'll talk about. But as you can see on the slide, again, we want to transform the learning experience once you realize that it is a lifelong journey and that it comes from many forms. So as you will hear from our academic recruiters and also our administrators from Texas, you'll hear more about what that's like teaching at Stride and also the different positions that we offer here. So I'm going to give the mic over to our academic administrators so they can talk to us about TOPS, which is Texas Online Preparatory School, and then Lone Star Academy.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Ms. Wilson. So again, I am Marissa Lopez. And so specifically for TOPS, which is Texas Online Preparatory School, we do have a elementary, middle school, and high school campus. So we serve grades 3rd through 12th. And then we have grown tremendously this school year. So I was just looking at our enrollment numbers as of Monday. We're at over 9,000 students. So we've grown tremendously. So with that said, we definitely do have a focus on college and career, not only at the high school and middle school, but even at the elementary school. And so we do offer dual credit opportunities for our students. So, and that includes workforce dual credit. And so we're continuing to build partnerships with colleges and universities to provide those workforce dual credit opportunities for our students. We do have a Stride Career Prep program as well. So our students have many opportunities to just explore various career paths, earn industry-based certifications. We offer at our various campuses many clubs and organizations for our students to just really connect with their peers and grow their skill set. And then we're so excited. We do have an esports team, which they are doing really, really well this year. So we are excited about that. But we just have a very student-centered focus here at TOPS, and we work together and collaborate to ultimately work towards our goal, which is helping our students become future ready. So that's just a little bit about TOPS, and I look forward to chatting with you all more.
So here again, I'm Kate Henderson. I'm an administrator at Lone Star. Lone Star Online Academy serves students kindergarten through 6th grade. Right now, we have a little over 5,000 students. We have additional start dates coming in the spring semester, so we anticipate some growth there as well for this year, and then next year we'll continue growing. All of our classes right now are self-contained, and we have a highly collaborative campus. So all of our teachers share all of their resources and ideas and lesson plans with each other as well. So, Lone Star.
Thank you, ladies. And again, we will hear more from them when we get into our question and answer session as well. I'm going to bring up Erica as well as Megan to kind of go through our hiring FAQ as well as the hiring process.
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Megan, and I am an academic recruiter with K-12 in our Texas schools. As our school leaders previously stated, we have grown tremendously this year. And with that growth, it's kind of been an exciting time in terms of the candidates we are able to accept into our Texas schools. So for our teachers, we are looking all over the country. You must reside inside the continental US, except for Colorado. If you do live in Colorado, reach out and we can discuss things further, but we are looking at teachers all over the country. You just need to be certified in the state or in Texas. We are going to ask that you do work towards your Texas certification, but don't worry, Stride will work with you on that reimbursement, and we will definitely help you through that process as well. Our salary ranges, we do start between $40,000 to $46,000. All of our teachers are also eligible for a performance bonus. The performance bonus is up to 5% of that salary, and it is based on your performance and our overall performance as well. Something that we have also implemented this year is our sign-on/retention bonus, which is an additional 5%. And that is something that is paid out in 2 pay periods. So you'd receive the first half after you complete your first 30 days with us. And then once you finish the school year, you would also be eligible for that remainder half. In addition to looking for candidates all over the country, we have also started to work with alternative certification programs. If you are currently in an alternative certification, we just need you to provide that statement of eligibility, and we can definitely work with you from there. As far as teachers, what your day-to-day looks like, I think one of our school leaders are going to jump on that and kind of give some more insight into what it really looks like to be an online teacher with K-12 and Stride.
Good morning. I was having a little bit of trouble trying to get my mic turned on. I apologize. Every school is just a little bit different, but we do have, generally our teachers do instruct in whole and small groups throughout the entire school day. Again, we are a Texas public school, so we are preparing students for all of those things that are required by the state of Texas, all state assessments, as well as looking toward their growth in math and in reading each school year. All lessons are conducted in live class sessions, and students and teachers are on camera and they all have a microphone. Teachers do have lots of control in their classrooms with the privileges they give students to participate. Again, based on the age of the student and the instructional schedule, our classes can be anywhere from 30 minutes to 60 minutes long. Not only do students work with teachers in live class sessions, they also work in our online school courses. So they have online courses that they're working with at the same time. So we have reports that share data from our kindergarten through 5th grade and our 6th through 12th grade students. And we review that regularly. Those reports come to us and we know we can look at engagement, we can look at pass fail. So really looking at student work, assessing what they're doing, and immediately providing that intervention that they need. Of course, with COVID, we know that students have lots of learning gaps. And so our teachers are working very, very hard, reviewing their data and making sure they catch students and remediate those students so we can begin to close some of those gaps. And then our teachers do communicate with students. I always tell a candidate that we do everything that a brick and mortar school does except drop off duty and pick up duty, which is a lot of times where we saw parents and could have a quick conversation with them. So we do rely a lot on telephone calls. We have a certain number of calls students or teachers make each week home where they simply can praise students for the work that they're doing, or if they're concerned about their progress, meet with parents and discuss that. We also have email that and can even text with families if a family will opt into texting. We do have staff meetings and professional development for teachers. providing that support that teachers need as they learn themselves coming into this online environment. So again, really, as has been said before, we are really student focused, making sure that we know exactly where each student is at every reporting period, and then shoring up those weaknesses so students can be successful.
Thank you so much. Now we'll talk a little bit about the hiring process. And Erica, if you wanted to talk a little bit about that, or Megan, whichever one.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would definitely love to speak to you all about the hiring process, how to apply, and what that kind of looks like. So our website, stridelearning.com/careers, is where you can find all of the open positions that we currently have right now. So that will be with all of our schools. To help filter it, you can do a Boolean search and type in Texas. Make sure it doesn't say Stride or Learning Solutions. That is a different program that we run. So you want to make sure it is our Texas schools of TOPS, TIVA, or LOSA, because those are the schools that allow don't have the residency requirements to live within the state of Texas. So you can do that, and then also do whatever kind of teaching position that you are looking for. So if you are certified in science, obviously you're going to look for a science role. So you can do Texas science, and you will see all the different positions that are available there. We highly recommend that you apply to any and all positions that you feel like you are a good fit for and that you are qualified for. So since we have 3 schools within Texas, they are hiring a little bit of everything. So I know TOPS sometimes has elementary teacher positions open. LOSA has a bigger need for elementary teacher positions open. We would recommend applying to both, because you could go into interviews for either or. So it betters your chances on joining the team of Stride. While you're doing your application, we do ask for a copy of your certification, especially since we are allowed to hire teachers that aren't certified within Texas. They have any kind of active cert. That way, for Megan and I, when we are going through your application and seeing if you are a good fit for the school, we have a copy of your certifications. It gets a little complicated for us to go onto 50 different sites, or excuse me, 48 different sites to see if you're certified and what that looks like. So the easier it is for us, the faster we can move you along the process instead of going back and forth in email. So definitely attaching a copy of your certification is going to be very beneficial to us. And then obviously a copy of your resume. Once we see that you're a great fit for the company, that you're actively certified, or you have that statement of eligibility from the alternative program, we will then make your account activated. So that hiring manager, usually the principal, can see that your application is in the system. And they are doing an amazing job at reaching out pretty much immediately of saying, hey, I saw you applied, let's conduct an interview. So we are moving pretty fast along the process. I'm sure, as you heard Marissa said, our enrollment numbers have increased and spiked this year. So our needs are immediate. So we are moving through applications and through interviews and hires at a streamlined, fast process. So doing that, I would say between you applying and probably hearing from a hiring manager would be anywhere between 1 to 2 weeks. After that interview is conducted, and if an offer isn't extended, that's when Megan and I get the fun job of verbally calling you and extending that offer and going over what that offer looks like. And then it's going through the onboarding process. So it is a very fast, streamlined process. Again, I cannot stress enough, applying to any and all positions you feel like you're a very good fit for, and attaching those documents that we would need to help push you along just a little bit faster.
All right. So I want to show, before we go into questions, just wanted to show some of the highlighted jobs that we have currently, just so you see what the needs are. Again, we do have listed on the slide our careers page. That way you can also do a keyword search, just if these particular ones may not speak to you. But these are some of the highlighted ones that we are currently looking for at this time. So now we've come to the portion where everyone can participate. So we want to know who has any questions for us. I am looking in the Q&A box. I know Courtney as well as Israel have been answering, and I want to thank you both for helping, as well as I know some other of our panelists are answering as well. So I'm going to try to say some over microphone so we can have it again said, because I know like reading through it could be taking a while. So if there are any of our panelists that had questions that they wanted to specifically address, you can go ahead and hop on the microphone, and then we'll try to answer as many as we can. And I can also go back to our other questions if we need to look back at anything as well for reference.
I know some people had been asking about schedules, and if we hire the school district schedules, we try our best to mirror theirs. But we do offer the typical kind of like teacher schedule of a summer, winter, spring break. So it is not year-long positions. You do get those breaks that you would in a normal brick and mortar. And then we also do offer an additional 10 days of personal and sick leave on top of your winter, spring, and summer breaks. So great question. Yes, it is kind of like a regular brick and mortar teaching schedule.
Okay, I saw someone ask, can they apply now for the fall of 2022?
So at the time being, we do not have our positions available for next school year. That will probably happen sometime in March and April. All the positions that you are going to see on our website now are for immediate needs for this school year. Since, like we said, our enrollment numbers have increased, so we do have those needs now. So you can look at those positions, you can put in an application for them, but for next school year, I would advise you to come back to our website and look during the March, April timeframe of what that will look like. Megan and I also do at the top of when we get next school year's positions, we will put at the top of the job description that it is for next school year. So that's how you'll know if it is an immediate need or if it's going to be for next school year. But I would say look at them now and then probably apply back in March or April.
Okay. I had someone ask, what is the Texas fee for teacher certifications? I'm not sure if we'll know that offhand or where they will look that information.
If you're asking about if you have an out of Texas state certification, to get a Texas state certification, usually it's about $450. That is all company reimbursed. So when you start going through that process, you would put your expenses in and the company would reimburse that. So we are not asking you to pay that out of pocket by any means. Another great perk about joining us is you'll also get another state certification and it will be company reimbursed. So great question.
All right. Someone is asking, are there any online substitute roles, or are we hiring for any online substitute roles at this time?
Yes, Kate is currently right now for elementary teachers at LOSA. We definitely have a big need there. There are our other schools are also hiring substitutes, and you can put that again in that Boolean search when you're looking at our jobs. Is when you put Texas, you can put substitute, and you'll see the different openings that we have. The biggest need is going to be for elementary elementary substitute teachers at Lowestar.
I'm not sure if we talked about, I have someone that said, I'm currently a gifted teacher and would like to know about our gifted program. And I'm assuming that it would be our special education. I know there may be different names according to like where you're located. But if any of our ministers want to talk about our special education and our program or how that works as far as either at Lone Star or TOPS, you can jump on the microphone.
So we have a shared services team, as all 3 Stride schools are Texas public schools. So in order to maintain compliance, we share those services, and Gifted and Talented is a part of that. Our Gifted and Talented department head is not in here right now, so she would be able to speak to all of those specifics, but we do test and identify students, and then we have a Gifted and Talented teacher that does like go out for them as well.
And just to add to that, in terms of special programs in general, so including GT, but in terms of special education specifically, we do provide those. Any special education service that a student would receive in a brick and mortar setting, we provide those services at our campuses as well.
Okay, and okay, someone was asking, I would like to apply for a position at Texas Virtual Academy. Does this one require residency in Texas? And I'll go back to also bring the screen back up too, just in case folks weren't able to see our hiring FAQ.
So no, even though our schools are based in Texas, we are not asking you to reside in the state of Texas. So that's pretty exciting. We're super stoked about that. You can live anywhere within the continental US. For those that live in Colorado, we ask that you email the recruiting team specifically so we can talk to you about that. But we do not require residency in the state of Texas, just the continental US. And then to have an active certification in any state, it does not have to be for the state of Texas, or completed an alternative program in Texas and have attained a statement of eligibility. Again, when you apply, if you can do put a copy of your active teaching certification or your statement of eligibility, that will better assist Megan and I pushing you through the system, seeing that you are qualified for the roles and moving you on to the hiring manager. So again, great question. Do not require residency within the state of Texas.
All right. Let's see.
I think, and Andrea, I did see a question in there, if we have other roles besides teachers. Absolutely. Think of anything that you need for a school. We probably have an opening for it now, if not for next school year. So we are hiring counselors. I know Kate is looking for counselors over there at Lone Star. We do have more of the higher level positions available. So your academic teams, different programs. So we are hiring for also non-teacher positions as well. So again, do that Boolean search when you're going into our career page of what you're kind of looking for, and you'll probably most likely be able to see that we do have something of that form available right now.
Let's see, someone was asking about,
I'm seeing lots of questions about benefits. If someone wants to go over that. I know we
Yeah,
mentioned.
absolutely. I can jump on that. So I saw a couple of questions too about the TRS. So we do not pay into the TRS. We do offer a 401k plan, which if you choose to enroll in that, you can enroll in that 30 days after your start date. In regards to benefits, we do offer full benefits, medical, dental, and vision. If you choose to enroll in those are also active on your first day. And then we do have some other perks that come with being a Stride employee. If you are looking to get your master's after being with us for a full year, we have several partnerships with universities that we would love to share more information on that as well. But that is something that if you're looking to get your master's after your first year, Stride definitely helps out with.
someone says, I have created a curriculum for students who want to learn real world skills. Do you have a need to teach students that I know when I was in the classroom, my students found it very helpful? Maybe someone could talk just about our curriculum that we offer as far as that Stride.
So I would say just in terms of real world skills, that is really where our career prep program comes into play, right? I mean, we are preparing our students to become future ready. And I think I mentioned IBC, industry-based certification exams, but that's just one example of a real world skill that a student is learning at the high school level, and then they will apply those in the real world, right? And so again, yes, absolutely, especially at TOPS, right? That's our goal. We want our students to become future ready. So we definitely are teaching them those real world skills, and definitely a heavy emphasis on that within our career learning or CTE programs. Absolutely.
Great.
Drea, I'm seeing a lot of questions about like kind of the schedule and full time. So most of our teaching positions are going to be full time, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. The best way I can kind of explain it is like teaching in a regular brick and mortar. You just happen to be in the own comfort of your home, which is obviously fantastic. If you could see my crazy socks right now, I think everyone would laugh. So it is a typical Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 kind of position. Again, you get those summer, winter, and spring breaks. Each kind of school in Texas, TOPS, TVET, and LOSA, look a little bit differently. So if you're acquiring about what that particular school schedule looks like, you can email the recruiting team at k12.com, and Megan and I would be more than happy to provide you a copy of what that school schedule looks like.
I did see a question. They were asking, do we offer summer school opportunities?
No, for LSOA, we do not. Just the way that our school year works out.
Oh, I think, oh, go ahead.
For TOPS at the high school level, we do offer summer school. However, it's for our sweet students who have fallen behind, and it's just one more opportunity to allow them to pass the course for the year. So at the moment, our summer school opportunities are limited to working with those students versus a student just earning initial credit for a course and just really trying to get ahead. So again, it's more, we do offer summer school at TOPS High School for those kiddos who have just fallen behind.
Another question we received was, what does your ideal candidate look like? And I guess that would be for Erica or Megan. What is the ideal candidate? And I guess that would be for either teacher or for any of the positions that we have open right now.
As far as like what makes you qualify for a position, again, living in anywhere within the continental US, having any kind of active certification or completed an alternative program within the state of Texas and collected that statement of eligibility. When we look at that, that's when we will push them to the hiring manager. As what like the hiring manager is looking for as far as a teacher, they can probably speak more upon that as what they're looking for.
I am more than happy to jump on to speak to that. But in terms of at the campus level, and I'm sure the other administrators they have their own feedback, but we look for the heart, right? At TOPS, do they have the heart to serve our students and to go and beyond, to go above and beyond and move mountains for our kiddos? So the heart and the passion, first and foremost, and then flexibility in our environment is key, right? So being able to, I don't want to use the word pivot, but I'm going to say pivot, being able to pivot when needed, again, just with that focus on we're doing what's best for the kiddos.
Now, another question someone had was, if I teach in Arizona, how do I help support with testing?
So if you are required to travel in for state testing, that is company reimbursed. So all that travel, if it does require airfare, hotel, we will company reimburse for that. So if that is a concern, don't worry about it, we got you. Testing happens or traveling into Texas would happen about 2 to 4 times a year, depending on what subject you're working on, what school you're working at, and what that looks like. So.
I had another question regarding the certification. Will I get help obtaining certification in Texas? And if so, can the certification be transferred to another state? I think they're currently not certified in, their current state is Connecticut.
So if you have a Connecticut certification, yes, we will help you get a Texas certification. An emergency cert is what it's called. Again, company reimbursed, so we will pay for that and we will get you certified within the state of Texas.
And if they aren't, because I think they
aren't certified.
Right.
So unfortunately, at this moment, we do ask for a certified teacher or an active certification. So if you hold no certification for a teaching role, we will be unable to move you forward in the interview process. But we do have substitute positions that are available that do not require a certification. So still a great way to join the company and to kind of get your feet wet while we're figuring that out. Is it something that we're kind of looking into potentially doing in the future? Absolutely. Do we have a game plan at this moment? No. So that's where having any kind of active certification is going to be a requirement, and then we will pay for you to get that Texas certification or emergency cert.
Okay. Someone asked, oh, I guess that was for Marissa. They were asking the time frame that they are meeting with the students. Is that
Yeah, so I think this individual, so for at TOPS, I think the initial question was how much, what does the live teaching time look like? And it's 225 minutes a week. So it's 8 to 5. What are teachers doing outside of this 225 minutes? So in that sense, I like to think of it flipped from brick and mortar. So outside of those 225 minutes for CTE teachers, it's really, teachers do have flexibility to plan that time accordingly. Lesson planning, working within the course, attending department meetings, PLCs, ARDs, grading, connecting with students is huge, right? We're virtual, so unfortunately we can't see our students face to face sometimes, even if they're, in the classroom, sometimes we don't always see them. And so really doing everything we can to connect with our students outside of class, sending emails, texting, calling, scheduling one-to-one conferences. Those are just activities that would take place outside of that 225 teaching time for CTE.
And I will echo the same thing for TOPS Elementary. Outside of the teaching time, and we do try to teach all of our core subjects in the morning between 8 and noon. Outside of that time, teachers, of course, an elementary teacher, they like working with students one-on-one. So in the afternoon, they have time to do that, plus all of the things that Marissa was talking about as well.
okay? So going piggyback on the, I guess the day, someone was asking, is there flexibility during the school day? For example, would I be able to leave to pick up my daughter from school?
So at LSO, we give teachers an hour for lunch. And if there is not an already scheduled class time or a meeting, then you have that lunchtime to, go take care of business. I have lots of teachers that take, the 15 minutes to walk down to their school and pick up their kiddos and then walk back and give them snack and things like that. So there is flexibility built into that piece, but the class times are set in stone. We don't change class times from day to day based on personal schedules.
Okay. Now another, let's see. Someone was asking they're asking what curriculum do you use for middle school? I know we do provide curriculum for all from K through 12. Now, as far as the specifics, if any of the admins want to chime in, but they're asking what curriculum do you use for middle school?
So middle school curriculum is aligned to our state standards. So there's not a curriculum that you could look up online. It's one that we build within the company and align it to our Texas state standards.
I think there's a lot of questions around, like, if I don't live in the time zone of Texas, what does that look like? So if you live, like I live in California, so I obviously have a 2-hour time difference from our Texas schools. I don't come in too terribly early, obviously, but I do fluctuate. I don't work like an 8 to 5 position because I have to meet the needs of our Texas schools. So obviously we have to keep our students in mind and what is best for our students, and our students do live in a central time zone. So if that means you personally live in a different time zone, maybe you're not working like an 8 to 5, but like a 7 to 4 or vice versa, or whatever that looks like. We do ask that you kind of maintain the hours of the central time zone, so we can better fit the needs of our students, because we want them to come first in that.
I also saw a lot of questions about testing and what that looks like for our staff. So we do have testing sites all over the state of Texas, just like all of our students are living all over the state. So there doesn't make sense to ask every single student to drive to Texas or to Dallas if they're not living close by. So we do have testing sites all over the state. With that being said, our teachers also support the testing sites all over the state. So with our teachers who are living inside the state of Texas, we do try to find a testing site that's closer to where you're at. But there are testing sites all over the state.
Megan, if you don't mind me just adding to that, because our teachers are expected to assist with STAR and EOC testing. We do, when we are assigning testing sites for our teachers, we do try to keep them within a 60-mile radius of their home. So I just wanted to mention that as well.
I saw someone ask about, do they participate in ARD meetings? Not sure what the ARD, maybe that might be.
It's for ARD, that's for special education. So yes, teachers do participate. It may be if our ARD facilitators work to schedule those meetings outside of those live times, but we're dealing with, we gotta also cater to families. So if the classroom teacher isn't able, if like the homeroom teacher is not able to attend, then it can be any teacher of record for that student. So it might be a counselor, it could be or not a counselor, it could be an electives teacher or something like that. So
I'm also seeing lots of questions about curriculum, whether it be like math, special education, art. So if anyone has any insight on any of those or just curriculum in general.
So we do provide curriculum for all of our content areas, and it varies by content. For the most part, we do have Stride developed curriculum. I like to think of it as an online textbook. And so with that said, though, knowing that we do provide an online textbook, teachers do have some flexibility to still add their own personal touch, their own flair to the course to reflect their teaching style in general. Again, it depends on content area. When we look at our career learning courses, we do use curriculum through ICEV, Cengage, some of those platforms. So again, it depends on the content area, but otherwise, if we're not using an external curriculum provider, it is Stride developed. We have a product development team that handles that specifically.
I am seeing a lot of questions about equipment. So we do provide a K-12 laptop. So we will give you one of those, and you will have to utilize that because certain software programs can only be utilized on the K-12 laptop. So if you do get extended an offer and feel like it's a good fit for you and your family, we will start the onboarding process, which is running backgrounds, getting you onboarded in the system, and then shipping you out a K-12 laptop. So we will send that. We do reimburse for internet and phone as well. So there is some cost savings that you will get from us as far as getting reimbursements for that as well.
Did have someone ask in regards to for subs, are they full-time employees or are those more like part-time positions?
Yeah, subs are listed as they're actually contracted as part-time employees. So for LSOA, that's $16 an hour.
And they're full-time as well, or excuse me, they're remote as well.
Okay. All right. Have a few more minutes. So we'll take a last couple questions. Do you have long-term assignments for substitute teachers?
Yes, because of the way that our program works, all of the substitutes are 4 weeks or more. So it is a long-term position. It's never a like we're subbing for a single day of the week. It's always 4 weeks or more.
And someone was asking about how many students might a full-time ELR teacher have. I know we mentioned earlier that we are expanding, but if anyone wanted to touch on that. I know we don't have a specific number, but we do have a range.
At Tops Elementary, we work on a 50-to-1 student-teacher ratio, trying to push that down to 40-to-1.
At the high school in general, what we strive for is 175 or so students per teacher. Again, that's just an average. We might have some teachers that are below or above that, but again, with our enrollment constantly fluctuating and growing, we absolutely strive to keep to those ratios.
Thank you. Someone was asking with the teacher to SPED student ratio, if anyone has that. Or what is the teacher to SPED ratio, student ratio, I'm sorry.
At Tops Elementary, we're trying to hold it to 20-to-1. But again, with fast growth, that has sometimes gone outside of that 20.
Questions, since we'll have our last 5 minutes. What does the Megan, if you could go over the signing and retention bonus, they're asking what that means.
Yeah, absolutely. So new this year, we have implemented a sign-on/retention bonus. So it's an additional percentage of your salary. And how it works is that after you complete your first 30 days of employment with us, you get half of that bonus. After you complete the entire school year with us, then you get the remainder. So it's broken up into 2 payments.
Awesome.
And then also keep in mind that you are also getting a performance bonus on top of that. The performance bonus is then paid out at the end of the year as well. And that's based on your performance and the overall performance of your school.
Thank you so much. Since we have 5 minutes or so left, I did want to do like final thoughts. So if there were any like other tips or just final thoughts that you want to give to those that are on the Zoom from either our recruiters or administrators, feel free to hop on the microphone just before we wrap up.
Yeah. So again, big key takeaways is we are hiring outside of the state of Texas. So you can reside outside of the state of Texas in the continental US. So big one right there. This is the first time we've kind of done this for our Texas schools. So we're very, very excited about that. Must have attained an active certification. Again, doesn't have to be within the state of Texas. We will help reimburse for that if you have an out-of-state certification, or completed an alternative program and have obtained a statement of eligibility. So that is also something new this year that we're pretty stoked about. When you apply to anything and everything. It just helps your chances of joining the Stride family. So if you see 2 different elementary teacher positions available at 2 different Texas schools, go for it. Apply to both of them. And that goes across the board with the different subjects that we have. So apply to a little bit of anything and everything. And then when you do apply, please make sure you do a copy of your resume and that active certification or statement of eligibility to help streamline the process of moving forward with an interview and hopefully getting an offer. These are, again, immediate needs that we have. I think pretty much everyone on the academic team has stressed we have grown year after year. We anticipate growing again next year. But right now we are looking for those immediate needs. So if you are looking for a position now, go for it. We want you to join the Stride family. We're very passionate about everyone joining the Stride family. So please do apply for those immediate needs for next school year. Probably look for the springtime is when we will be posting those positions.
Thank you so much, Erica. And I also want to make mention, if you are not a part of our talent community, please be sure to join us. That is, you can join the talent community. I will put the link into the chat. But you can also follow us on our social media platforms. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And you can follow us at Careers at Stride. If you have any other questions, I know we were going rapid fire, but if there are any other questions that you have after this event, you can send us an email, talentteam@k12.com. Any recruiting questions, we can also forward them to recruiting@k12.com as well. But we have our talent team email that you can send us. We actually put both in the chat box, and we will try to answer those questions once we receive them. Again, my name is Andrea Wilson. I hope that you all enjoyed our Q&A session. Again, this has been recorded. We will be sending that out to all of our registrants. So if you weren't able to sit for the entire time, you'll be able to go back and rewatch all of this. I do want to thank all of our panelists for today, Marissa, Jane, Erica, Megan, Kate. I also want to thank Israel and Courtney for helping out in the chat box and the Q&A. And again, thank you all for coming, and I hope you all have a great day. Thanks. Bye, everyone.